Why do Americans speak so openly about their thoughts and feelings? Why do they share opinions so freely, even when others disagree? Why do they seem comfortable standing out, being different, and expressing who they are? To people from many cultures, this can feel strange. Sometimes it even feels unnecessary, uncomfortable, or self-centered. But in the United States, self-expression is not just accepted. It is encouraged. So why do Americans value expressing themselves so much? To understand this, we need to look at how American culture defines identity, communication, and personal value. SELF expression is not about attention. First, it's important to clear up a misunderstanding. When Americans talk about expressing yourself, they are not necessarily talking about showing off or seeking attention. In American culture, self-expression usually means sharing your thoughts, communicating your feelings, showing your personality, letting others know who you are. For Americans, expressing yourself is not about being better than others. It's about being visible and understood. Silence does not always equal humility. Sometimes, silence simply means you are not being seen. Identity is built through choice. In many cultures, identity is shaped by family roles, traditions, or social expectations. In American culture, identity is largely shaped by personal choices. What you believe, what you enjoy, what you stand for, what path you choose. From an early age, Americans are taught a powerful idea. You define yourself. This makes self-expression essential. If you don't express your thoughts, values, and preferences, people don't know who you are. And in a culture where individuality matters, being unseen can feel like losing part of your identity. Education trains people to speak up. American schools play a major role in shaping this mindset. Students are encouraged to raise their hands, share opinions, ask questions, challenge ideas. Class participation is often part of the grade. Silence can be interpreted as a lack of engagement. Students learn early that speaking up is not disrespectful. It is expected. They also learn that there are multiple perspectives. Disagreement is normal. Being wrong is part of learning. This educational environment turns self-expression into a basic skill, not a risky behavior. American communication is direct. The United States is considered a low-context culture. This means communication relies on clear words, not hidden meanings. People are not expected to read the room, guess emotions, understand unspoken hints. Instead, people are expected to say what they think and feel. If you don't express yourself, others may assume you're okay. You agree, you don't care. This social structure pushes individuals to speak up, not out of ego, but out of necessity. SELF expression is linked to SELF, respect. In American culture, expressing yourself is often seen as a form of self-respect. If you don't voice your needs, boundaries, or opinions, people may see that as a lack of confidence. Speaking up signals you value yourself, you trust your thoughts, you believe your perspective matters. This does not mean Americans think they are always right. It means they believe their voice deserves space. Expressing yourself does not mean forcing others to agree. Another key point many people misunderstand. Americans often separate expression, agreement. You can express your opinion without expecting others to accept it. Someone may say, "This is how I feel," and still fully accept that others feel differently. Self-expression is about openness, not control. Emotional expression is normalized. In American culture, expressing emotions is generally acceptable. People talk openly about stress, anxiety, happiness, frustration, personal struggles. This openness reduces stigma. It also creates emotional transparency. Instead of hiding feelings, people are encouraged to name them. This emotional language makes self-expression feel natural rather than dramatic. Media reinforces the message. American media strongly supports self-expression. Movies, music, podcasts, and social media constantly promote ideas like, speak your truth, tell your story, be authentic, don't hide who you are. Over time, these messages shape social norms. Expressing yourself becomes not just personal behavior, but cultural expectation. SELF expression and freedom. In American thinking, freedom is not only about laws, it's about psychological freedom. Freedom to think differently, live differently, speak differently. Self-expression is the visible form of freedom. If people are free but afraid to express themselves, that freedom feels incomplete. The role of diversity. The United States is highly diverse. People come from different backgrounds, cultures, and belief systems. In such a society, assumptions don't work well. Self-expression helps bridge gaps. When people explain who they are and what they believe, others don't have to guess. SELF expression as self-protection. When people express themselves clearly, they protect their boundaries. They prevent misunderstandings. They reduce resentment. Self-expression becomes a way to maintain mental health and clarity. So why do Americans love expressing themselves so much? Because they were taught that their voice matters. Silence can erase identity. Expression creates connection. Freedom includes being heard. Self-expression is not about ego. It's about existence. Americans express themselves not because they want attention, but because they don't want to disappear. In a culture built on individuality, freedom, and personal responsibility, speaking up becomes a way of saying, "This is who I am." And that belief shapes everything. If this video helped you understand American culture a little better, subscribe to Wise Explained for more deep dives into mindset, culture, and human behavior. Because behind every habit, there is always a reason.